Alright, so we're back on the Mega Moto build. This is episode 2. On the last episode we got this frame prepped for the swing arm, meaning we hacked off all of the old parts that hold the rear axle before. We repurposed these two tubes as supports, and we cleaned off all the paint where we need to weld. Problem is, we're still waiting on a way to cut the brackets for the swing arm. I got a buddy working on turning them into XDF files, and then that'll go to the place that's going to cut it. So hopefully that'll happen within the next couple weeks, but we're going to move on because we got to keep trucking on this build. The next thing we're going to work on is we've got to put this motor in here and see how much room we have, because we need to fit the battery in here as well, because this is electric start. So we gotta pull this out of here. Alright, so here's our engine. It's electric start, like I said. Alright, so let's take a look at that real quick. Here you go. Starter. Mess of wires. Here's the box for the key. It's like an ignition box, basically. They send you the linkage part to turn this from governed to ungoverned. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. So that's something that we got to work on. Here's our key. Bam, just like that. So this is going to pose some, let's see how it fits in here. Let's start with that. Oh great, it doesn't fit in here. That's going to be wonderful. Alright. This weird crankcase breather vent thing, that thing's in the way. Stock air box is in the way. All that stuff. That hose. No problem. Let's go ahead and pull this air box off of here. Okay, garbage. Air cleaner's off. Pull the muffler off. Keep those. Oh yeah, we have an exhaust on this thing. Oh, thank God. It's a squeeze, but it looks like it's going to bolt up just fine. Alright, so we really do not have much room at all for a battery in this thing. We really don't. So we got our tank here. Wow. This is going to be a problem. I was hoping that I would have some room up here to put a battery in. That way keeping everything kind of compact and in one spot, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Now, the swing arm is going to come up and the shock is going to be like right about in here. So we really, oof. Man, this is tough. This is going to be a tough one. So it looks like the negative will reach, the positive, yep. So if we can get a motorcycle battery, I think this is about the right size for a motorcycle battery. We're probably going to have to change out this spark plug again, just to gain that extra clearance maybe in here. But it all depends on how tall the battery is, or if we can turn it on its side, that would be even better. Like if it was a gel battery, we could flip it and mount it flat this way and make a battery box. So let's, I'm gonna take some measurements and then I'm gonna head to the parts store and I'm gonna go measure batteries, and then I'll come back with something hopefully that'll fit. All right, here's what we ended up getting. Duralast Gold what is that, AZX7L. Seems to be about the right dimensions for what we're doing. And throw this up in here. That's going to be perfect. We make a bracket that fits it right about like that. Like this. So we got to get the seat on there. Okay. So there's our seat. Yep. Put that up in there like so. Before we build the box. Oh yeah, it's got to be a little below because we got. I would like to prove that this will start off of this battery. So we're going to go ahead and hook it up. Alright, that's our new battery hooked up there temporarily. I'm going to unplug the spark plug wire. We don't have any gas in here, so it shouldn't start anyways, but let's confirm that this little battery will crank this thing over. Not very well, apparently. Woo! Alright, had a little compression stuck there. There you go. I think that'll do just fine. Alright, now that we've confirmed that this battery is going to work for us, we're going to start getting this thing mounted right in here just like this. Oh, and we also got one of these little trickle charger adapters here. So that way when he parks the bike, he can plug it into a trickle charger and not have to worry about this battery being dead every time he goes to start it. Alright, good morning everybody. We are working on this battery mount. We're going to place the battery somewhere right about here under the seat. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to make a little box basically out of this piece of sheet metal. I've just got lines right now to square it off. Got to cut a little bit off and then we'll mark it up. We'll bend it up, cut it up, and we'll make it work for a battery mount. So stay tuned for that. Alright, here's our battery box. We're going to go ahead and slide this in. Make sure that it all still works. Man, we got a tight, super tight situation here. I need to whack that with a hammer a couple times. It's kind of tight at the top there. Let's try it now. Goes in like this. Ooh, look at that. Lift the front up a little bit. See, I thought that might be a problem. So we got to trim this back down just a smidge so that the battery can slide in. Okay. There you go. Battery box. So all you gotta do is take the seat off, and then you can pop this sucker out. So I'm gonna put the seat on here and make sure that this isn't gonna go anywhere. If it does seem like it has a possibility of working its way out, which is highly unlikely, then we'll have to add something else in here. Maybe some sort of retaining strap here. But that's getting pretty close there, I'd say. Let's put that seat back on and see what that... Okay, like so. That goes down like so. Yeah, that could totally come out. Yep, I just popped it out. Okay. So we're not done yet. We gotta make a strap to hold that down. So we got our battery in here. We got our hold down. It's able to come out. I put this little spot at the bottom for pushing up on the battery if you need to get it out. But now that I'm looking at this, I think I need to put a couple of holes in the corners here, just in case it needs some sort of drainage. But that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. That's gonna work perfectly. Let's throw the engine back in and take a look at it. All right, I'm super happy with that. Let's get this thing back up on our stands. All right, there you are. We got engine in, seat on, battery box. So the next thing I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this engine prepped. We're going with full black on this thing. We're blacking everything out. So I gotta pull this cover off anyways. I gotta take and get into the engine, do the governor delete. I gotta do the linkage in here, get rid of all this governor junk, and paint these two covers along with this black. So that's gonna be my next step. All right, here's what we got going on this morning. I am working on, you saw me take the tins off the motor. We're painting those right now. I got to work on the exhaust. So I got this flange that I just had in my box, and I cleaned up some weld and stuff up there. It was from another project, but we'll use it on this anyways. So we got our flange. I'm breaking out all my flanges here. Okay, so we got our flange. But we got to go around the fender when we do this. So I had to get the fender remounted. So I'll show you guys what we're doing with the fender. So I believe these were flipped around the other way before and facing down. But what I did is I just took them and flipped them. Come up here, press them against the frame on each side. We're going to weld them, and that'll be our fender. And then we're going to have to obviously do a ton of trimming. I think on my last one I trimmed this whole little thing off of here. Helmet was on grind, just got blasted. So we got that. Now we got to figure out how we're going to mount this. Yeah, so I think that's why we kind of went towards the outside on this other one. But we could trim fender to bring it in, because we want this pipe for sure to be inside of the fender. So we want this to be about equal with the back of the bike. So we need to trim up here, across, and something like that. All right, there's our exhaust. We still have to paint. We're gonna paint this with header paint, and then we're gonna wrap it so that you don't get burnt on this, and so you're just not feeling the heat off of it. But all this was just stuff I had laying around. I mean, this one here was a brand new bend. This was a piece that I had. This whole piece from here to here was a piece that I had for my golf cart exhaust. And when I redid the exhaust, I just kept this little S bend section that I made. And then butted it up right up to the connector for the header. We got our hanger here, a really strong, I think it's 1/4 inch thick hanger. So yeah, this thing is ready to rock. So I'm gonna get some paint on this. We gotta go ahead and move on to degoverning this thing and getting that linkage hooked up right and getting that adapter for the air filter on there, all that stuff, getting this motor 100% ready to go. Right now we're looking good here. I also need to trim this fender a little bit more, but the fender might get trimmed a lot because if you remember, there's going to be a shock. There's going to be a shock coming up right through here somewhere. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. We got to do a little bit of trimming right here on this fender. We're going to have to trim a bunch out anyways when that shock comes through there, but it's looking good. We're going to go ahead and throw some header paint on it, wrap it, and call it a wrap for that. And we're going to move on to degoverning this engine. Alright, I just wanted to show you guys what we got here, final product for the exhaust. So it's kind of just loosely bolted in, and actually can slide in just a little bit more than it is right now. I didn't quite design this much stick out. I wanted it just barely sticking out, but this is like a hard joint right now because it's got paint on it, so I gotta clean some of the paint off. But it looks good. I like it. It should work. So to recap, in this episode we did a brand new exhaust on this thing, front to back. We did a battery box for our battery. That's actually not in there right now, but you can see it exists there. So yeah, there we go. We're all blacked out on this side now for the most part, except for this. We might get like a black sock to go over this. This is just a sticker that we like to run on our bikes. Shake and brake, and I accidentally put it on crooked. But yeah, it's looking nice. So I think the next thing that we're going to have to move on to before we get our rear swing arm stuff is going to be making the forks. Alright, I just wanted to give you guys a quick little sneak peek of our fork tube, since this is the next thing we're going to be working on. This is our new fork tube. Here is a factory one, so you can see massive difference in height and size and design, because this is an inverted fork. And you got your reservoir up here versus this one. It's a traditional, your reservoir is down here, shock shaft up here. So that's what's coming up in the future along with the rear swing arm build. Go ahead and smash that like button for me. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well if you'd like to see more content, new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.